Hi, my name is Paula, and I'm quickly going to share two of my latest junk journals with you. One of them is sewing themed, and then a second one is flower themed. So this first one, I went ahead and used a 1962 pattern envelope, and I sewed it on the front. And then I sewed the back part of the pattern envelope here. I went ahead and put some crocheted lace on here, and then of course I used the cotton fabric to cover the envelope and to go ahead and tie the junk journal with. So as you can see, I went ahead and used some hand stitching right here on this pocket, put some tape measure. This is an old embroidered table cover. The pocket has pieces of pattern on it, music and so forth. And then of course, I made a little journal card using parts of a pattern and just kind of put it together here on the journal card. So this particular junk journal, as I said, it's a vintage pattern, 1962. The dimensions are 9x6. It's got 80 pages, and of course I had lots of fun. And this is the plaid scrapbooking paper that I used to go ahead with the pattern or in the junk journal. Here's another pocket. I sewed on that, and then here's another tag made from parts of a pattern envelope. This is from the old 1962 pattern. These, by the way, were in the 1980s. This is still the 1962 part of the pattern. Very yellowed, but it does go nicely with the theme here. I used the fabric that I used on the outside to create a fabric flip. And this is a little piece right here that I also used on the junk journal inside. And then here's more of that crocheted and lace. And this is a muslin ruffle that I sewed. And here I got some quilt squares at the Salvation Army. I got a whole bunch of them, so I picked out some pieces that had pink in them and used them in here. And this is from a very old craft book where it's got some sewing, some sewed clothing, and I went ahead and cut them out, used the pattern piece foundation, and glued this on front. I did sew around it. This is from an old doily, but the colors and the size were right. Here I did some stenciling with the sewing themed shapes. And this, of course, is another tag, a ruffle, scrapbooking paper. This is from an old book. I went ahead and coffee dyed it. And then, of course, you can see more ruffle, more another tag, and so on. And then this, the Rita Dunley paper flip on here, then with two tags on there. I'm not going to go too slow on this. Some more journal cards. Again, I used pieces from the pattern, and this is just a little picture from the pattern. Went ahead and put some ruffle underneath it. This is a very old magazine from the 1980s, but then this is an article on sewing by satellite. The colors were right. The topic was also right. Here's an envelope that I went ahead and decorated and put a hinge on it, and decorated with some quilt colors on there. And then you've got another picture here of thimbles and a needle. 1962 pattern, 1980s pattern, some more quilt square fabric. This I really like because I have a pink tape measure, and then it just went nicely with this particular journal card. And I also like what I did here. There's some fabric on the bottom, and then I went ahead and cut out a dress from a pattern. This is another page from that old magazine, Needles and Thread. And here we've got some more quilt squares along with a tag on there. Inspirations, don't forget the fancy stitches, another article in that magazine that I was talking about. And then I went ahead and stenciled the scissors on there. Old magazine, Crafty Ideas, old, from the 1980s magazine. And then I used a little quilt on there for a tuck. Ledger paper. Went ahead and used some pieces of the pattern or different patterns. Here's another one. These, by the way, I was inspired by Tracy Fox, and the tags she created for sewing gave me an idea and helped me spin it off on this junk journal. Here is a flower, but since this was pink, I used it here, a ruffle, some music in the background, and then another quilting square. This is a banner on here that has vintage, the word vintage, so I went ahead and used that. Another tag, another tuck. And it's all got stitches on here. Some I hand stitched, others I sewed with the machine. And then picture of a dress here, another picture, another tag, another part of a pattern. This came from the magazine. These I really liked. I used some measuring tape, cut out the larger picture from the pattern, and then the pattern name of Simplicity. And I turned this into a pocket here. I did the same thing on here, another dress, more measuring tape, and some headings from the pattern envelope. The other part of the pattern piece, same thing here, vintage on top, quilt fabric, or quill fabric, and parts of an old book. This is a pattern. It's Extra Simplicity, or Extra Sure pattern from Simplicity. I went ahead and glued it on here and put some hinges, and there's additional space for writing. Same thing here, ledger paper, but I did use a different part of the pattern pieces, different pictures, and just work them in there. Same thing here, old magazine, old page from the magazine. This is where I purchased the stencils, turned it into a journal card. Same here, except I went ahead and laid it out differently. This is also from the magazine Needles and Thread, some more stenciling here. And right here, I would just folded this piece of paper. Whoops, this is, just open this up and you can write on it, and measuring tape, button, and then a little picture from the pattern envelope. The 1962 part of the pattern, and then some more ruffles, decorated a pocket here. This, I went ahead and decorated the pocket with some music, ruffle, and then used the little thing that comes with needles so you can insert the thread in the needle. I did go ahead and cut out some journal cards, but in circle format. And this, of course, I forget what these are called, but it is ruffle, and you've got the journal card in there. It's a belly, I forgot. Okay, here's the sewing machine again. This is I just clipped it on here. This is an altered paper clip, yellow or blue measuring tape, and then another part of a pattern on here. A side tuck on here, more of the doily, another side tuck on here, tags, tuck, and then this is the last part on here. No, it's not, but I went ahead and did the same thing on here. I like the way all of these came out. And then handmade by, and I put my name on there. And same thing on here as on the front. I hand stitched it. So this is the sewing themed junk journal. This I'm going to go ahead and send over to Lindsay Zanor. This is fabric for sofas, so it's rather sturdy. And then I went ahead and put this doily on here, put some little flowers, and then tied it with a ribbon. This one has 2 signatures, and it's a lot chunkier. The sizes are 5.5 by 9.5, and it's 122 pages, and it's 2 signatures. And then you've got, I put some bling on here, and it's a card that you open up and you can write on it. And I did put that little gingham ribbon on there. Scrapbooking paper. I do have a lot of pictures from a magazine, not a magazine, but a book about flowers that I found at a thrift store. Made a lot of pockets here with a lot of tags. The fabric flip, using the same fabrics that I used throughout. This is the rickrack. I went ahead and covered that part. Got some lace on here, pink fabric, and then the sofa fabric. This piece of music is from a 1948 book, and the pages were all already yellowed. These white pages I tea-dyed very lightly, so it's not as dark as the pages that I cover with coffee, or that I dye with coffee. Side tuck here. This is a calendar. It's not too old. Another ruffle in there. And this I hand stitched right here and made another pocket, ruffle, page from the book, decorated with some flowers on here. I did find some mason jars that were really pretty at a teacher supply store. I left an opening there for a tuck, and then I covered this and made a tuck in there. This is some writing paper for kids, more journal cards, tucked in a pocket, side pocket here with a tag. Same thing, same here, more of the quilt square fabric. Another piece of paper that you can open up and write on, and then left a pocket right here for the journal card. More quilt fabric here, or quilt fabric here. And same thing here, I did use a flower to decorate that. All the flowers came from a book that I found at a thrift store. And side tuck here, more of the quilt fabric, here, pictures for the tag, and scrapbooking paper. I did go ahead and stamp here. I'm practicing more of the stamping so that I'll be better at it. Ruffle, more stamping, the word dream here to help with some of the writing. I created some fabric clusters and used them throughout the junk journal. Another writing area, fabric cluster. This is a coffee stained or coffee dyed envelope. I copied this from the Paper Outpost, and so 2 openings there that I cut through the envelope and washi tape, and then I didn't glue it up here, so I'd have a 3rd pocket, and I really like that. Another cluster, fabric cluster, music. This is a long envelope, and I just went ahead and covered it with scrapbooking paper, and then it had 2 openings or 2 pockets in here, so I went ahead and put everything in there from the book. Fabric flip, music, Rita Donnelly flip, more side pockets, pictures of flowers, tags, journal cards, more stenciling here, old cards, or not old cards, they're rather new from Dollar General, but they've got flowers on there, so I did go ahead and use them in this junk journal. This I liked. This was from Crafty Cat. You've got a pocket here, and then I used one of the cards as another pocket. Little tiny tags there and regular size tags on this one. I really like the look of that too. And then another side pocket here. Another piece of paper to write on that you open up and you can write on that. And this is the same as the other page with a pocket here, a card here, and then you have 3 places in which to insert your tags. This is the middle of the signature. You've got some more pockets here, some with fabric, some with decorative paper, and the tags and journal cards are decorated with flowers. Ruffle, and here's a side tuck with fabric, another mason jar, another journal card. This is another envelope where I inserted some journal cards. There's a ruffle there. I used a whole bunch of fabric, but I tend to use a lot of fabric in my junk journals because I love to sew. And I love fabric. So I did use it extensively here since it was it's a sewing themed junk journal. So some more fabric clusters, another part of the calendar, and on it goes. Lots of writing space, lots of places for tucks, and so forth. Music. And this is the last page on here. This is that envelope that I just folded, and I ended up with the blingy card, like in the front. I hope you enjoyed these flip-throughs. Bear with me as I get used to videotaping junk journals, but I do thank you so much for spending time with me, and feel free to visit my Never Creations shop on Etsy, and watch out for my journals on Nevermore Creations with Lindsay Zenor. Take care. Bye-bye.